So, 13 scenes I wish we saw. Just to give clarification, allow me to say this. What I'm referring to when I say scenes I wish we saw, I'm talking about events that I would have wanted to see in a series that to my knowledge did not happen. I am an anime only for Fruits Basket, which means you might see unadapted manga events make it on this list because I'm unaware that it happened. If you haven't watched or read all of Fruits Basket, I'd advise you to total run from this video as there will be spoilers. With the formalities out of the way, people, let us begin. Number 1, Kureno interacting with other Zodiacs. Although Kyo was the one who hosted the cat spirit, which brought along isolation, in actuality, Kureno was the strangest Zodiac, at least to all other members. He was the guy no one really knew anything about, and of course, this was due to Akito birdcaging him, but nonetheless, Kureno hasn't had many interactions with any Zodiac members. Pretty much, the only Zodiac member he's shown to have some sort of relationship with is Shigure, who has a one-sided beef with him. I think it would have been cool to see Kureno talk to the other Zodiacs and tell them about himself after he was free from Akito's clutches, especially since members like Rin don't think highly of him, which is pretty funny considering Kureno helped save Rin's life, unbeknownst to the fact that Rin wanted to punch him after his talk with Toru. Number 2, a Ritsu and Akito dynamic. Ritsu is a wasted character in a lot of regards. He for sure has the least amount of screen time out of all the Zodiacs, which is a shame considering he could have made an interesting pair with Akito. Ritsu is a man who cross-dresses and Akito is a woman who poses as a man. That contrast alone might have made for an intriguing moment if it was focused on. A good point brought up by my friend, co-host, and Rat Perry is a scenario of Ritsu helping Akito dress more feminine and Akito helping Ritsu dress more masculine after Akito revealed herself to the Zodiacs to be a woman. Unfortunately though, all we got from their relationship was the gag that Ritsu thought Akito was also into cross-dressing. Considering Ritsu's position as a man wearing women's clothing, it makes you wonder if Akito would have also been violent towards him because of her hatred for women. And as a side note, I know Momiji also used to cross-dress, so some might argue that the dynamic I wanted already existed. However, the difference to me is the fact that Momiji's cross-dressing wasn't taken seriously like Ritsu's, so ultimately, I don't think Momiji and Akito was a feasible substitute for Ritsu and Akito. It's like when you ask your mom for McDonald's and she say, "We got food at home." It's not the fucking same, mom. Number 3, an explanation for Hattori's powers. I know what some people will say, we have motherfuckers who turn into animals, literal gods, a psychic high school girl, but the situation with Hattori is even weirder. I can accept certain anomalies in the series, like Hana's powers for example, but I have no clue why Hattori's powers exist. As far as we know, Hattori's memory suppression has shit to do with him being possessed by the dragon spirit. He just so happens to have this power and knows how to use it. Even when it came to Hana, she had an episode that touched on her powers, and although it didn't explain its origin, we at least saw that there was a process into honing this power. When was the first time Hattori used this power? How did he know he had it? When he suppresses memories, do those memories get wiped or overwritten? There are a lot of unanswered questions concerning Hattori's powers. Number 4, Toru's first job interview. Toru had a job at age 15 at the start of the series. Knowing how clumsy Toru can be, I would have liked to see how she'd handle the pressure of an interview. This is the part of Toru having a job that I don't think many people think about too often. The job interview could have went smoothly, but possibly seeing Toru squirm and her nervousness is alluring. Number 5, the Prince Yuki fan club post Yuki. To me, the Prince Yuki fan club is endearing as all hell. They brought a lot of chaotic fun to Fruits Basket, being the force of Yuki fanatics they are. But what happened to them after their leader Motoko graduated? And more importantly, what happened to them after Yuki graduated? The Prince Yuki fan club, I believe, consists of a majority of the girls at Kaibaro Municipal High. This would include first year girls, meaning that even if all of the members of the Prince Yuki fan club that we knew of graduated, there would still be members remaining in high school. Did they dissolve after Yuki graduated? Did they decide to find a new prince like Momiji or something? How did they treat Machi, who was dating Yuki? Since the Prince Yuki fan club were relatively minor to the story, I guess we will never know the answers to these questions. Number 6, the fate of the guy that killed Kyoko. Kyoko's death impacted the lives of many forever, like Toru, Kyo, Utani, and me. But whatever happened to the guy who started all of this shit? Since we focus on the actual event rather than how it happened, I think the perpetrator gets swept under the rug. This random fuck came out of nowhere and somehow hit Kyoko while she was standing on the sidewalk. Why? Were they daytime drunk driving? Were they getting payback at some part of gang that Kyoko beat up? Were they living their life like it was Simpsons road rage? What the fuck happened to that guy? I like to think that person is getting tortured a la Jigsaw style, because considering they took away Kyoko from the world, I think they should be cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Bare minimum. Number 7, the school days of Megami, Kisa, and Hiro. Before the Cinderella-ish play, we got a tease of a potential friendship between Megami and Hiro. Since Hiro and Kisa are the youngest of the Zodiacs, they will be the next generation. Therefore, it would be cool to get a time skip that gave us a glimpse of the trio of Hiro, Kisa, and Megami, assuming they went to school together. There are a lot of friendship trios in Fruits Basket, like Toru's, Yuki's, Motoko's, Shigure's, so Hiro having a trio of his own would be a nice way to continue that tradition. Number 8, the Soma men learning how to cook. There is a plague amongst the Soma men that happen to skip Kyo lucky enough, and that's their inability to cook. Look, if Kyo could learn how to cook without a single parental figure to teach him, then every Soma male should be able to do the same. I'm not asking for my guys to be able to cook an Alaska flambe or something crazy. I'm just asking for the basics, bruh. Can you learn how to use an oven, a stove, a microwave, something? There is no way fully grown men like Kazuma, like Shigure, should be allowed to live that long without knowing a survival necessity. I get that they have money and can afford to not know how to cook, but damn, have some shame. Instead of Kazuma hiring Hana as a cook, he should hire Hana to teach him how to cook. And how the fuck Yuki can't cook either despite having a garden is beyond me. Men, we gotta be better. Number 9, the student council post Yuki. This is sort of the same void that exists with the Prince Yuki fan club in the aftermath of Yuki graduating. Nao and Machi would still be on the council, but after losing their secretary Kimi, vice president Kakeru, and president Yuki, who fulfills those roles? Are Machi and Nao going to stay treasurer and secretary respectively and let other students take over the vacant positions, or are they going to be the new vice president and president of the student council? Number 10, a full-fledged talk between Yuki and Kyo. I like the last fight between Yuki and Kyo, but I do think it was lacking in one regard. Yuki and Kyo admit that they were jealous of one another, but my issue is they never got to the root of it all. I didn't need for Yuki and Kyo to tell their entire life stories, but I definitely believe they could have been more transparent. They never cleared up what truly made them resent each other in the first place. Yuki didn't unleash about how he was envious of Kyo for being able to make friends easier than he ever could, and Kyo never told Yuki about how he was envious of Yuki for stealing what he thought to be his purpose by leading Toru back home. I just felt that conversation should have gone to a deeper place to make the end of their rivalry feel totally conclusive by clearing all misunderstandings. Number 11, Rain telling Akito, "I told you so." I've spouted this tape numerous times on my live reactions and on the Ox and Rap podcast. If you're new to my opinion on this, buckle up. So, Akito and Rain made a little bet in which if the Zodiacs did not return to Akito, then Rain would win and Akito would have to bow and leave the Soma estate. By all accounts, Rain won the bet. She was right. The curse was broken. The Zodiacs were free to leave Akito and they did. Rain, however, never got to gloat about this. This is something that I don't think I just personally wanted and didn't get. That bet was crucial to Akito's character, but it was never brought up again. In general, Rain disappeared from the plot after episode 7, which is mighty odd. I don't see how it can be explained that someone as vindictive as Rain stood idly by and allowed Akito to remain head of the Somas after the bet they made. Even if Akito were to simply not honor the bet, I would have probably been okay with it, but the fact is, it wasn't even addressed, and that bothers me. Number 12, the Crimson Butterfly's Wrath. Although we know how imposing the Crimson Butterfly was by testimony, I wanted to see it in action. The perfect opportunity for this would have been when Kyoko saved Utani from her gang, which was off screen. Although it was implied that Kyoko had to fight her way out of that dilemma, I wanted to see that fight all the way through. And yes, that means I wanted to see Kyoko, a grown ass woman, beat up some middle schoolers, because fuck it, they deserve to get beat. Seriously speaking, I think I would have liked to see explicitly why Kyoko was so renowned in gang culture. Let me see her fight a couple of gang leaders, extort money, get in a wild chase. I want the full experience of the Crimson Butterfly. And lastly, number 13, a Yuki wedding. For some reason, I have a vivid idea of how a Yuki and Machi wedding would go. Ayame and Mine can make the wedding dress for Machi, and maybe they meet for the first time. Kakeru will obviously be the best man, and he could do a bit of trolling in that position. Kyo and Toru would attend, of course, and maybe this sparks them into seriously considering marriage as well. Also, Toru and Machi can meet for the first time, with Machi formally thanking Toru for what she's done for Yuki. Then, when the marriage officiant asks, are there any objections to Yuki and Machi's marriage, you can have Motoko, who thinks about objecting but concedes, showing how she's let go of her love for Yuki. And then you can have Haru, who actually objects and proclaims his love for Yuki before Rin gives him a sneaky jab to the back to make him sit the fuck down. Yuki's mother will also be in attendance and actually proudly smile as she watches. The Prince Yuki fan club will fight over who gets the bouquet, but Kimi would steal it. You'd have Hana eating a majority of the cake even though it's not her wedding, and threatening the Prince Yuki fan club with their ways just for old time's sake before Utani tells her to let them off the hook. All in all, I think I want to see this because it's the perfect excuse. It's the ideal setting to get all of our characters in one place and have fun interactions. Well folks, that about does it for 13 scenes I wish we saw in Fruits Basket. Let me know some scenes that you wish you would have saw, whether it be character interactions or bit plot points, doesn't matter. You could be an anime and manga reader, just comment that below. But guys, it is one more video left. All right, and that video is a video. Actually, I'm gonna keep it in secrecy. I won't say what it is, but stay tuned for tomorrow. That will be the end of Fruits Basket week. But guys, that is it for me. I am Satsuki the Savage. Like, comment, subscribe. I am out.
Tasting your soul, you're not in control, just giving you goals. Scared of your past, the future is closed. The start is the end is a start. They both are the same, can't tell them apart. Nigga, that's cuz the intro was the outro.